Hi everyone, Ksenia here. Welcome back to my channel. If you want to know how and why I wasn't affected so much by the pandemic this year and how I grew my business by 30% in 2020 while taking off almost 2 months because of the pandemic, stick to this video. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ksenia. I'm a portrait and fashion photographer based out of Washington, D.C. And I do a lot of maternity, family, and portrait photography for individuals and businesses. And I also work with a lot of local influencers. I know that 2020 was very hard on a lot of people, especially in the creative industry, especially photographers or whoever work in the event industry, because a lot of events had to be canceled, rescheduled, and I know a lot of weddings and event photographers were dealing with refunds or rescheduling the events, and just not knowing what's gonna happen is the worst. Because basically March 2020 was a big mess. Nobody knew what's gonna happen, when we're gonna reopen again, if we ever will be doing the same thing that we are doing right now. So a lot of clients were reaching out to us as photographers for answers, and we were like in the same boat with everybody. People would ask like, do you think you're gonna be doing shoots in like June? I'm like, I have no idea. So we navigated it the best that we could at the time. So me personally, I had to cancel my shoots, especially my maternity sessions and everybody, starting March. I can't remember the exact date, but it was like, I think mid-March. And I was able to get fully to work only in May. And I was like so slow in the beginning because people were confused and they didn't know if we can even do shoots, or a lot of people were still scared, so they didn't want to do the shoot even if they wanted to. So it was like a big mess. But especially my heart goes to event and wedding photographers. If you only did weddings and events, you were hit the hardest, because basically people lost their income for months, for the whole year, because a lot of weddings were either rescheduled or canceled, so we had to refund them the deposits that they paid already, and it's not just $100, it's like thousands of dollars of refunds. So you lost money on that, and also the not knowing what's gonna happen next year or the end of the year. So a lot of photographers pivoted, so they started offering more of a portrait sessions or maybe mini sessions during this uncertain times. A lot of people started their own education platforms for photographers, which is great. So there's always, like when there's a crisis, it's always negativity versus the opportunity. So a lot of people use that time to either learn a new skill or just kind of like offer a new service to their clients, or they just did something creative which brought them to the new level, or they ventured out into a different kind of job. So I personally always admire those people who come out of those tough situations and they just get creative with it, and they get on top and they get back on the horse and keep doing what they love and finding new ways to bring income in. So let's get back to my situation. So for me, the pandemic wasn't as hard as I thought it would be and compared to other people, because first of all, I already have my brand, so I already have my clients who know me, trust me, and like me. So I already have the tribe of people who want to take pictures with me. So basically when the pandemic hit and they closed everybody, they shut everybody down, I just put people on hold basically for like 6 to 8 weeks until we can figure out when we can do things again safely for everybody. So I mean, I lost some of the bookings for maternity session, for example, because they couldn't wait. They had their babies where they were, we were in the shutdown, but it was just a few sessions. Most of the people who could reschedule, they did reschedule, or at least they didn't take the deposit back. They just told me, you can keep the deposit, we're gonna use it next time when I'm ready for the booking. And I'm like, okay, great. I still had to send some of the deposits back, but it wasn't that much. So that brings me to my first point. Building your brand is more important than anything else, than any money in the world. Because if you have a strong brand that people can relate to, you're set for life. So the other thing that was kind of good for me But again, I feel for those people who lost their income this year is because I don't really do any events or weddings. I stopped doing weddings when I got pregnant, and I never really felt like I needed to get back into the wedding photography because this is not something that I like to do as much, and it just didn't make sense because I was so busy with my just portrait session throughout the week, then giving away weekends for like weddings and just getting exhausted. That didn't work for me or for my family. I had a newborn, so I couldn't just get out of the house for 10 to 12 hours to shoot a wedding. And the same thing with events. Like, I'm not a big fan of taking pictures at the events. I can do it, it's fun. I'm kind of like in the moment, but this is not something that I love doing. I actually had only one event that was coming. I was shooting with somebody else. I was like a second shooter for a friend of mine that we had to cancel. So I just sent her the deposit back, and that was the end of the story. I was kind of happy that we had to cancel that because again, like it's not my thing. And also, I don't work with newborns or like little kids as much, except the family shoots that I do. I know that not only event and wedding photographers, but also newborn photographers were hit pretty hard this year by the pandemic because people couldn't trust to bring their newborn child somewhere when they could be exposed to the virus that nobody knew about anything. And everybody was just scared that they wanted just to stay home and not go anywhere, especially when you have a newborn baby, then you're already scared of like breathing on the baby. So I know that a lot of friends of mine, my good friend Maria Campbell, who is a newborn photographer, she couldn't get bookings for a long time, even though she's usually fully booked for like months ahead. Everybody had to cancel, or like they just probably rescheduled for some later time. Obviously not for a newborn, but like for like 6-month session maybe or something like that. And I know that she couldn't do, especially in the studio, she has like a small home studio. People didn't trust to bring their newborn baby to studio setting. So what she did, she got very creative, and I love her for that. She started offering, it was the summertime, so she started offering outdoor sessions, like newborn sessions. So she set up like a little platform outside. She put a little shade. She lives in a house, like it's a single family home. She has some land around. So she used her backyard basically, and it's a very quiet community. She's back to the woods, so there's nobody to bother around whatsoever, no traffic coming through. So that's a perfect setting. And she did quite a few newborn sessions like that, and like other baby photography probably during that tough time for everybody, because people were okay doing things outside. Most people were, but a lot of people were not trusting doing like studio shoots or shooting indoors at the time. And because I don't do newborn or baby photography whatsoever, again, I wasn't hit as hard. The other thing that sets me apart and helped me a lot this year is, as I said, I already have my brand, and I have consistent bookings and consistent flow of inquiries that coming in my way. And I also have people who are returning clients who do their shoots on a regular basis. So it could be once a year, it could be once every few months. So for their business, for example. And I work with quite a few influencers who are scheduling their shoots on a regular basis. So they shoot either twice a month, or there's someone that I'm working with on a weekly basis. So I have shoots every week. Of course, we had to shut down during the pandemic when nobody could do anything, but then we slowly started doing shoots outside. And these are the first people that get back to me because everybody's waiting. They need pictures, they need content, because this year was the time of creators to come together and build that content around this situation. And it was actually a great opportunity for a lot of people who would transition to like online businesses who already have their platforms. So because a lot of people were looking for resources to get their education or entertainment online. So if you are looking for opportunities to have your business a little bit more stable, please find those opportunities for you to get consistent bookings from the same person or the same business. Get some kind of membership. I know some people, for some of my photographer friends who have like personal branding photography services for entrepreneurs, small businesses in the area, they have membership programs. For example, they offer to do one shoot every 3 months or so, and they charge a certain fee, but it's a contract that will lock this business for a year or 2 years or something like that. And this year I did the same thing. I started to expanding my network and targeting small businesses and like business owners in the area, offering personal branding photo shoots. So basically I started talking about it more on my social media platforms. I started posting more pictures, and I did shoots whenever I did shoots for someone as a personal branding photo shoot. I made sure they tell their friends about me. So it's actually something that I'm super passionate about. I love helping, especially women-owned businesses to build their online presence and get better pictures for their business, because it does make a difference in the modern world when everybody's looking at social media accounts, websites, pictures, videos, all the content that you have to create to stay current. This is where I can come in and offer my expertise and offer my photography to really make the brand stand out online. And again, those small businesses at the time when they couldn't do anything, they didn't have as much financial resources, but if they did have some kind of money flow or money saved, they were looking for the opportunities to invest into things they didn't have time for before the pandemic hit. So when it's like a slower time for the business, then people are looking for opportunities to reinvent their brand. Maybe they're rebranding, or they're finally getting time to do the pictures or videos for their brand, so they have to make more marketing efforts to bring people in the door when there's like a slower time. So it's all a great opportunity for a photographer, videographer to come in and help those people in their marketing efforts. And also in 2020, like no other time, people were hungry for content. So they still are. And this is the time when everybody's finally starting to understand that you have to build your business brand online, on social media. You have to have your website or some kind of landing page. And you have to have pictures for that. So this is a great opportunity for people, creative people, photographers, filmmakers, to reach out to other businesses and start working on some projects and get paid for that. So 2020 and 2021, I feel like is the best year to start and grow your photography business and finally get on top of your game. So stay with me if you want to learn more about my business, how I built it from scratch in the country that I just moved in. I'm an immigrant from Russia. Like, I didn't know anybody here. 8 years ago, I just moved to this country. I couldn't work for the first 3 years. And over the course of 5 years, I built my photography business that brings me over 100K a year. So if you want to learn more from me about photography business or some photography education, technical things and all that, make sure to go to my website, kseniapro.com/education. I'll be posting some resources for beginner photographers or some photographers who are looking to grow their business and get into like a full-time photography business. I'm going to build a whole library of free resources as well as some paid courses over the time. So this is very exciting. So stay with me, go to kseniapro.com/education to learn more. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell button. And see you guys in the next one. Bye.